Barack Obama went on Pod Save America, and this was nominally to campaign for Biden, but he managed to slip in some blaming of the voters for his own shortcomings. Watch.
I differ with Bernie and even Elizabeth in how we talk about this stuff publicly. Most of the time when I didn't get something progressive done while I was president, it wasn't because I was getting donations from some special interest or corporation. It wasn't because, there were a bunch of lobbyists whispering in my ear. It was because I didn't have votes. And I think sometimes we attribute the failure of a Democratic or progressive president not getting something done to somehow he and hopefully at some point she is being influenced by these other folks, when in fact it's just that we don't yet have the votes and the clout. So progressives, if you want progressive legislation, get out there and keep working after the president is elected. I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but you guys know how frustrated I would be when progressives, feeling frustrated, would then sit out the midterms. Now I have fewer Democratic votes. Now I've lost the House. Now I've lost the Senate. That is not the right reaction.
He's frustrated when progressives sat out the midterms and he lost more votes. Maybe it's time for a little introspection. President Obama, why do you think they sat out the midterms? Why do you think they did that? Perhaps they did that because you weren't delivering on nearly enough, and you weren't doing things that were popular. Maybe if you did those things, maybe if you tried to do those things, maybe if you notched some victories, then they would come out for you. See, he's blaming the voters. He's blaming the voters, namely the progressive base. Why didn't you come out for me in the midterms? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because you had a supermajority and you gave us a Republican healthcare plan. Maybe that has something to do with it. You had a supermajority and you gave us the healthcare plan of the right-wing think tank, the Heritage Foundation, a plan that was originally Mitt Romney's plan, a plan that was supported by Chuck Grassley and Newt Gingrich. That's what you gave us. You kept the for-profit health insurance companies in control when you had a supermajority. You want to know why people didn't come out to vote for you in the midterms? Maybe it's because you ran on ending the wars and you continued the wars. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why. You ran as an anti-war candidate and then you increased drone usage and you did a surge in Afghanistan. You said you would protect whistleblowers and then you didn't. You continued George W. Bush's illegal, unconstitutional NSA spying when you're a constitutional law professor. Maybe that's why they didn't come out for you, because you didn't deliver enough tangible stuff. Now listen, am I saying everything he did was bad? No, of course not. I love the Iran deal. I love the peace agreement with Cuba that we had. In the second term, he started freeing many nonviolent drug offenders. That was positive. I'll give credit where credit is due, but who are we kidding? My dude, you're a corporatist. You're center-right. In fact, you're so center-right, you've admitted that in interviews before. You say, who, me? I mean, with my politics, I'm basically like a moderate Republican of the 1980s. Oh, you are? So then, how about you stop blaming lefties for not showing up for you because you're admitting that you ideologically disagree with the lefties. You're admitting it. You're admitting it. Now, when it's inconvenient, you pretend like you never said that and that those are not your beliefs, but we see the truth. We know the truth. Nobody's more educated on politics than left-wing activists. You're not going to be able to BS us with this nonsense. So there's no introspection. There's no like, wow, what did I do that may have led to the turnout not being that great in the midterms? What did I do? Or what did I not do? Again, the best example is ending the wars. He could have just ended all the wars. You're the commander-in-chief. You don't need... Congress blocking you means Dickie McGee's acts. There is no blocking. You're the commander-in-chief. You could pull out the troops today if you want to. When he was there, obviously. But he didn't do it. Trump's about to learn this lesson too. Oh, you ran on ending the wars and you continued them? Well, when you don't win re-election, which is likely the case with Trump, although you never know, but look at that as one of the reasons why. You said you were going to do X, you didn't do X, and then you berate the voters? Please, please. Then there's another point in there. He basically says, listen, if you want progressive legislation, keep pressuring us after the election. When we pressure you, you say, oh, you're helping Republicans. When we pressure you, you say, oh, look at this purity tester with their litmus tests. And how, he says, don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. When we pressure you, you hate it when we're pressuring you. And you tell us to stop pressuring you. Now, you make this Weasley pitch of like, just shut up and vote for Joe and then after pressure him. They're so full of shit. So full of shit. He's a chameleon. He'll pretend like, oh, me, I was just a lefty and I was just hamstrung the whole time. And, it was everybody else's fault. And then the other half the time when he's being honest, he'll say, yeah, I'm a moderate Republican, basically. By the way, the part at the beginning is infuriating too. He says, Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, I disagree with, notice the wording here. I disagree with the way they talk about this publicly. And then he brings up money in politics. And he's like, hey, money doesn't impact me or the Democrats. I mean, I just couldn't get the votes. It's not the money. It's the fact I didn't have the votes to get these things done. Barack Obama hired a number of people in his cabinet from an email from Citigroup. I wish I was kidding. I'm not kidding. Barack Obama bailed out Wall Street. He was, at the time, he had taken the most money from Wall Street of any candidate ever. What's the very first news story after Obama got out of office? The very first news story we saw with him in it. He took, I believe it was a $400,000 payday to give a speech on Wall Street. Now, why do you think they're paying him? Why do you think they're paying him? That's payback for what he did as president when he propped them up. He gave them the bailout money with no strings attached, and then they turned around and gave money to the CEOs, bonuses to the CEOs who bankrupted their own companies. And he's saying money doesn't impact me? Or money doesn't impact Democratic politicians? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? There's a reason why you guys don't fight forget Medicare for all. You don't even fight for a public option. Why? Because they take money from the for-profit health insurance companies. So the reform they did had to keep the for-profit health insurance company profits in mind. Money doesn't impact me. Of course it does. It's human nature. Of course it does. Who you're taking your donations from is everything. So when you take money only from small dollar donors, you're only going to represent the small dollar donors. If you're taking money from lobbyists and corporate PACs and billionaires, you are going to represent their interests. For sure. And that's what he did. That's exactly what he did. By the way, when he says, I disagree with the way Bernie and Elizabeth talk about this publicly, he's talking about, oh, they act like money in politics is nefarious. And his point is, it's really not nefarious because it's not that the money's impacting me. It's that I just didn't have the votes to get this progressive legislation done. This one example disproves it. He pretended to be for the public option for 2.5 seconds, immediately backed off that and did the Republican healthcare plan. And again, this was while he had a supermajority. He says, oh, what am I supposed to do? There's nothing I could do to change it. But see, that's the nefarious part. Because politics isn't this stagnant thing where everything is set in stone. Politics is fluid. So you know what you do in a situation like that? You take the blue dogs who are an issue, who don't want to back a public option or Medicare for all. You call them in your office and you say, listen, if you vote for this bill, I will make sure you get reelected. I'll personally campaign for you. The Democratic Party will fund your reelection campaign and you'll be good. If you don't vote for this, I will personally campaign against you and we'll support a primary challenger against you and we'll flood your primary opponent with all the funds in the world and we'll make sure you don't have a career in Washington, D.C. So you make your own mind up. You for it or are you against it? You for Medicare for all or are you against it? This is how you play politics. This is what Lyndon Johnson would have done. This is what FDR would have done. Barack Obama didn't do that. Why didn't Barack Obama do that? Not because he's not capable of doing it, but because he didn't want to do it. he doesn't support Medicare for all. He doesn't support a public option. He supports Mitt Romney's plan. Because like he said in his own words, I'm like an old school moderate Republican. At least that was honest when he said that. This is not honest. Blaming the base of the party. What a joke. What a joke. Blaming the voters. The voters didn't turn out because they didn't see a material improvement in their lives. You also ran as an anti-outsourcing guy, and there was a lot of outsourcing under your administration, and there were more free trade deals under your administration. You were relentlessly pushing TPP during the 2016 election, as Trump was in the Rust Belt arguing against TPP, saying, I don't want your jobs to be outsourced. The Democrats are going to outsource them. Takes zero responsibility. None. Points the finger at everybody else. Pretends like money doesn't influence politicians. Really pathetic, man. Really pathetic. I know he has a high approval rating, but I'm absolutely convinced that people are able to separate the person from the record. Or at the very least, the high approval rating is with people who don't know enough about his record. So maybe it's ignorance. But somebody can be a likable person through and through and have a pretty bad record. And that's exactly what he is. And I really can't stand the disgusting way he talks about this stuff, taking no responsibility, no looking in the mirror, no realizing how we got somebody like Donald Trump. If you were so successful and delivered on all your promises in 2008, there wouldn't have been a Donald Trump. Not even close.